Nearly a century ago, in 1915, the San Diego government made a deal with the devil. At least, that's what it seemed like when they promised $10,000 to a self-proclaimed moisture accelerator to bring an end to a deadly drought and got way more than they bargained for. Welcome to 5 Cent Docs, where we explore niche topics in 5 minutes or less. Today, we're covering the San Diego Rainmaker. To understand why San Diego's government was willing to risk $10,000, which equates to nearly $300,000 in today's money, first, allow me to provide a little bit of context. In 1915, California was struggling through a devastating drought. A sizable percentage of California's fresh water comes from reservoirs, and a little more than a century ago, those reservoirs were dangerously low. San Diego, one of California's southernmost cities, was hit especially hard by this lack of water as they were entering the second year of the Panama-California Exposition, an event celebrating the opening of the Panama Canal intended to encourage growth throughout the region. On December 13, 1915, everything changed when a sewing machine salesman named Charles Hatfield strolled into San Diego City Council with a miraculous solution. Hatfield's offer was simple, enticing, and seemingly impossible. He claimed that within a year, he could take the Marina Reservoir from nearly empty to overflowing. And if he succeeded, the San Diego City Council would owe him $10,000. The San Diego City Council must have been in a pretty tight place because they agreed to Hatfield's conditions. Immediately after, Hatfield went to work. According to a passage in Western folklore by Barbara Tuthill, Hatfield, with the assistance of his brother Paul, erected a tower a short distance from the Marina Dam. Colonel Woost describes the tower as having had a platform about 8 feet in diameter, fenced with planks. On this platform were galvanized iron pans about 3 feet square and 9 inches deep, containing Hatfield's chemicals. What was in those towers? Apparently, a secret mixture of 23 chemicals that Hatfield claimed would attract rain when evaporated. Regardless of Hatfield's questionable science, not even a month later, the city council began to see promising results. The drought broke with a heavy rain on January 5th, 1916. The only problem? The rain didn't stop. The preceding storm was nothing short of a natural disaster. Rivers filled and overflowed. Bridges were destroyed. Trains were marooned. Homes and farms were devastated, and 2 dams, the Sweetwater Dam and the Lower Otay Lake Dam, overflowed. The Lower Otay Lake Dam would burst shortly after, causing massive destruction and flowing the Otay Valley. All in all, about 20 people perished in what Californians began to refer to as Hatfield's Flood. When Hatfield attempted to collect payment for his services, the San Diego City Council refused to pay him unless he accepted liability for the $3.5 million in damages that his flood had caused. Feeling wronged by the council, Hatfield attempted to sue. Hatfield's legal battle would be a marathon lasting over 2 decades, finally coming to an end in 1938 when the courts decided that the rain was an act of God. This absolved Hatfield of the damages, but also stripped him of his entitlement to payment. However, Hatfield earned something much more valuable than payment: unbeatable publicity. Throughout his career, Hatfield was alleged to have attracted over 500 successful rainfalls all over the Americas. So who was Hatfield? And more importantly, how did he do it? For much of his professional life, Hatfield was a Kansas-born sewing machine salesman. In his free time, he studied Pluviculture, the art of artificial rainmaking. With his brother's help, Hatfield used evaporating towers and chemical mixtures to attract precipitation. Hatfield's first rainmaking experiments happened on his father's ranch in Bonsall. According to Hatfield, "I do not make rain. That would be an absurd claim. I simply attract clouds and they do the rest." To this day, whether Hatfield's formula was actual science or pure bunk is up for debate. However, the concept of artificially creating rain is still something that persists. Cloud seeding is a method by which a compound called silver iodide is crushed up and released into clouds to encourage rainfall. The silver iodide crystals are structurally similar to ice and therefore attract water molecules in clouds. As the water molecules cluster around the crystals, they become heavy and begin to fall. However, cloud seeding isn't just used to encourage rainfall. To prepare for the 2008 Beijing Olympics, China used cloud seeding ahead of time to ensure dry weather for the event. Hatfield died on January 12, 1958, and unfortunately, his secret chemical formula died with him. However, his story has lived on, inspiring a number of works, including the 1993 John Bell song Hatfield, the 1956 film The Rainmaker, and the Broadway musical 110 in the Shade. Thank you for watching this 5 Cent Doc. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. And if you want to see more documentaries on niche topics just like this one, click subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell. Do you think Hatfield was a genius rainmaker or a con man? Let us know in the comments below.